Metro Manila mayors have opted to maintain the general community quarantine starting tomorrow. But the threat of COVID-19 transmission remains imminent, with more business establishments reopening and more people going out of their homes. Along with the easing of restrictions, local governments in NCR will implement unified curfews and localized lockdowns. But will these measures continue to protect people from infection? We discuss in this episode of The Chiefs. Welcome to this special edition of the Chiefs. Special because it is the last day of August, and tomorrow we hit the bare months, and you will hear Jose Maria Sison singing very soon. And with us right now are Ana Marie Pamintuan of the Philippine Star, Lucy Cruz Valdez, the head of News 5, and Robbie Alampay of One News. Oh, Ami's not yet here. Hi, good evening and happy Monday.
Jose Marichan.
Jose Marichan, sorry. Ibang topic pala yun.
Pagkalata ito kasama natin eh.
Sabi kong
Ibang topic pala yun. Okay, sorry. I still have some I'm still hungover over Friday's discussion. Anyway, happy Monday. Jose Maria.
Jose Marichan. Pero Jose Marichan na-iskupan na 4 days ago. 4 days ago, nakarinig na ako ng Christmas Carol.
Oo, talaga.
Ganun ba?
Saan?
Where was I? Probably a grocery. Patuwing lalabas naman ako para lang mamili ng ano. So it's probably probably a grocery.
Mabuti naman yung mall, pa rin, Sige.
Sige lang.
Okay lang yan. COVID can't stop.
Sigurado kang si Jose Marichan yun na hindi si Season. Baka mamaya kumakanta ng international yung narinig mo.
Hindi katulad mo, hindi ako nalilito between the two of them.
Okay yun, Ed, ha? Kakalap ko tong episode na to. Against you.
Wala, hindi na ako dilawan, pula na ako.
Ano ba mga balita?
Oh, what's a big story today?
Well, mamaya, meron na namang pronouncement about the GCQ. And,
Yeah. And actually, we have our guests for tonight are going to be talking about their recommendation to the IATF. Yun lang, tonight or possibly tomorrow morning, we will see kung ano ang decision, if they will go with the recommendations of the Metro Manila mayors. Yeah. Well, the MMC kasi, the Metro Manila Council is recommending GCQ for the entire month, hindi na for 15 days, for the entire month for Metro Manila. Pero recommendation.
Yes. At bukas na naman ang mga salon, ang mga review centers, 'di ba?
Mga gym.
Oo.
Mga gym, makakapag-ensayo na tayo.
Oo, yung mga nanaba.
Makakapag-decide na naman akong wag mag-gym.
At least may choice ka, 'di ba? Kasi mahirap pag wala kang choice eh.
Di ba?
You have the freedom of choice.
At least meaningful yung hindi ko pagpunta, di ba?
Because it was your decision. It was not imposed on you by the lack of choice.
Yes.
But in other what else? Other non-COVID news. I mean, over the weekend we were also following. I mean, this is still a continuing thing with the ABS-CBN fallout, but sadly, the regional offices were took some of the so far. I think. I mean, yung sinasabi natin na layoffs, talagang libo-libo na yung inaabot. But in terms of how people will feel it, yung regional offices ng ABS-CBN, tumigil na rin. And that means a lot for a lot of people na sa totoo lang, sila lang yung transmission lang nila dati nakakaabot. So, malaking bagay yon also for our people who will really start to feel if they ask ano bang impact nito. I mean, people's access to information and news will be affected by that. So that's a continuing thing.
You're talking about 12 regional bureaus of ABS-CBN. A lot of people don't know Sa probinsya, typically what happens is before they have the national newscast, they have the local newscasts.
Yes.
So, mga 30 minutes before the national newscast, meron munang Chabacano na newscast, o kaya meron Bicolano na newscast, and so on down the line. O may
Right.
Bisaya na newscast, and so on down the line. May Ilocano rin as well. So, yung mga newscasts na yun will now be gone. Now, but we're only talking so far about the regional bureaus eh. Pero marami sa mga na forced retirement ng ABS-CBN, ang last day today,
Yes.
the last day of August 31.
Yes.
So they got their walking papers earlier, and their walking papers take effect tomorrow. So this is the last day of a lot of employees of ABS-CBN. Ami Pamintuan is now joining us live from the Philippine Star offices in the port area in Manila.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Hintay yung segue ko, no?
Ay, hindi. Mamaya pa tayo mag-segue. Ano, we will go into a gap first before we introduce our guest.
Usapang Christmas Eve muna tayo. Christmas Eve
muna.
nga,
bare months na bukas. At least yung ibang negosyo, masaya na, binanggit niyo na kanina, di ba? Nakakapagbukas na sila. Nakakapagbukas na simula bukas.
No, we hope, di ba? But at least, malaki-laking adjustment pa rin to sa lahat ng tao. I think, really, kasi since nag-announce na mag-GGCQ, it's been what? 2 long weekends after that. So parang hindi pa natin natetesting talaga eh, di ba? But I think now talagang bumubuelo. We had about 2 weeks to really psych ourselves to where we are right now. Pero magkakaalaman ngayon because a lot of people outside of work are still medyo, pa rin, di ba? Tumatansya pa rin.
Kasama yung internet, yung gym, sa Nueva Vizcaya, merong 9 na nagpunta sa gym na na-infection, ha?
Aray ko.
Hindi namin magiging problema yan. We will not have that kind of an ordeal.
Diba?
Yung mga, sa mga salons, full Anyway, hintayin natin maya-maya. We're waiting for the announcement.
With new centers, dahil nagpasukan na eh. Dami na rin nagpasukan.
Marami na.
Yung anak ko na, nanghihingi na ng tutor eh. Mahirap na
Akala ko baon ang hinihingi eh.
Wala silang baon ngayon, nasa bahay sila lahat.
Kaya nga eh.
Bawal sila.
Hindi makakapangupit, di ba?
Bawal pa rin sila. Kanina pinag-uusapan ko na yung natin, di ba? Yung magiging guest natin, umpisahan nyo na eh.
Well, let's tease our guests siguro before we go into a gap. We've been talking about COVID-19 and what happens when we hit the bare months. May recommendation kasi Metro Manila Council. So our first guest later, when we come back for the gap, will be the chairperson of, the chairman in this case, of the Metro Manila Council kasi nag-rotate yan among the mayors. It will be Parañaque, Mayor Edwin Olivarez. So please stay with us. We will just go into a gap and we will come back with Mayor Olivarez or Chairman Olivarez when we return. So please stay with us. Welcome back to the Chiefs, and now joining us is Parañaque City Mayor Edwin Olivarez. Mayor Olivarez is also the current chairman of the Metro Manila Council. Mayor, thank you po for joining us tonight.
Thank you for the opportunity. Magandang gabi po sa atin lahat.
Magandang gabi rin po sa inyo. Mayor, let's start off po with the recommendation ng MMC, yung Metro Manila Council. We understand na isang buwang GCQ ang reko ng MMC. That's all the mayors of Metro Manila. Hindi ho ba that does not remove any flexibility on your part? Kasi before we have only 15 days and 15 days and 15 days with which to decide whether to upgrade or downgrade. Now, ang recommendation ninyo is for one entire month na GCQ. Doesn't that take away any flexibility on your part, assuming that it's approved?
Yes. Yung pong sa 30 days, wala pong recommendation po doon. Pinag-usapan lang po yon within do sa mga IATF members. Kasi nung nag-meeting po kami kagabi, mapalad po na kasama po natin yung 6 IATF member, yung ating 6 cabinet members po doon. Pero basically, ang pinag-usapan po doon na unanimously, ang recommendation ng 17 mayors ng Metro Manila is to extend the GCQ. Pero regarding sa 15 days to 30 days, wala po doon. Wala po siya.
Pero
okay. Sige.
Anong masasabi niyo ron sa suggestion na 30 days? Okay ba?
Pinag-uusapan yon dahil nga po kailangan i-balance yung ating yung healthcare pati yung ating ekonomiya na dapat i-balance. Kasi minsan nahihirapan yung ating mga businesses kung 15 days na pagdating ng susunod na following 15 days na naman, hindi malaman kung mag-MECQ, mag-ZCQ. Kaya hirap na hirap yung mga negosyante po natin. So, yung po ang pinag-uusapan. Pero wala po kaming nirekomenda na 50 to 30 days. Yung po yung pinag-uusapan sa IATF. At kung ano po ibababa po ng IATF approved by the President, pa-implement po yan ng ating mga local government unit in Metro Manila.
So, you're okay
Mayor.
either way. You're okay either way. Sure.
Yeah. Yes po ma'am.
All right. Okay.
Mayor, ang isang pinakambagong input just as this decision and this recommendation comes in over the weekend, as we're bracing for GCQ, the usual things we're concerned about, transportation and so on. Pero yung isang pumasok na input is that tumataas daw ang infection rate sa workplaces, na a lot of the new cases are coming from workplaces. Now na mag-GCQ tayo, we imagine a lot of workplaces starting to reopen. Also, how does this factor into our continuing concerns and what the council, and for that matter the IATF, may be bracing for, especially as we reopen the GCQ?
Okay. Ito pong GCQ is just continuous. Ito lang po extended GCQ na nagkaroon na po tayo ng GCQ right now until this night. So, yung pong ating pong mga ibang businesses ay magbubukas, katulad po ng ating pong yung ating gymnasium, yung mga gym, yung mga ating pong mga sports facilities, pero may guidelines po na ilalabas po yan at ibinigay po ng ating pong ng IATF through Secretary Mon na yung pong mga guidelines po yan, at aside sa guidelines from the national given by IATF, ay magbibigay pa na hiwalay na guidelines ang ating pong mga LGU to ensure na magkaroon po ng protection yung ating mga workers sa lahat po ng ating mga establishment all over National Capital Region. Katulad po sa mga factory, kung meron po mga factory within National Capital Region, kailangan po mag-set aside ng isolation facility. Yung pong mismong employer, para mahiwalay po yung ating mga positive, probable, and suspect na kanilang mga empleyado para hindi po sila masama po doon po sa kanilang mga co-worker. At magkakaroon po ng guidelines kasi doon po sa observation ng ating po mga City Health Office, doon po sa mga cafeteria po nagkakawaan. Doon po sa cafeteria. So magkakaroon po ng guidelines po yan na by shifting, hindi po sabay-sabay nakakain po sa kanilang cafeteria para po maibsan po yung ating pong paghawa ng bawat co-workers.
Pero para pong mga barangays and streets versus a city, di ba? Parang ang naging approach natin sa mga municipalities and cities and NCR, sinabi, hindi na wholesale lockdown, parang granular na yung targeting. is there a way to apply granularity when it comes to companies? Let's say pagka, yung pabrika na napag-usapan nyo nga, pagka may nagkaroon ng kaso sa pabrika, hindi naman kaagad-agad that the protocols and the mechanisms will immediately target the entire factory. Will you allow granularity of addressing this on the level of companies or for that matter factories?
Yes, actually, yan po yung treatment na ginagawa po. Kasi yung pong ating granular or localized lockdown, pwede pong gawin po yan per barangay, per sitio, per purok, at per building. At kung po sa isang building, doon po sa factory, we could lock down that. Binigyan po ng authority po yan doon po sa local government unit. Actually, yung pong guidelines po dyan, basta merong dalawa na nag-COVID, automatic pwede i-lockdown yung particular na building na yan.
May clarify ko rin kasi yung balita nga kanina, recommended daw ng council na 30 days na GCQ. Meron din, yung pala hindi totoo. Meron ba kayong recommendation din na iksian yung yung council recommendation ba na iksian yung curfew na gagawin ng 10 o'clock? Ito tama.
Yes.
Recommendation.
Yun po yun. Nagkaroon po kami ng decision po ng majority of the mayors in Metro Manila na iiklian po natin na ngayon po ay from 8 to 5 o'clock in the morning. Starting tomorrow, it would be 10 o'clock in the evening until 5 o'clock in the morning. Para po magkaroon po ng breathing room yung ating mga establishment, yung mga restaurant, para naman po sila makapag-operate with the longer hours.
Mayor, sa pagdadagdag niya mga businesses, paano naman yung sa mass transportation? Nire-recommenda nyo na ba na lahat na pwede na uli?
Yung pong ating pong TODA is under po ng LGU po yan. Yung pong LGU. So lahat po ng TODA, nabuksan na po sa Metro Manila po yan. Pero may guidelines po yan na kailangan isang passenger lang, yung pong bawat isa sa tricycle. Yung pong mga jeepney, yan po ay under po ng LTFRB. So yung pong ating mga public utility vehicle, unting-unti na rin binubuksan po ng LTFRB po yan, ng ating DOTR para naman po hindi po mahirapan at hindi mahirapan yung ating mga pasahero sa kanilang pagbiyahe papunta sa trabaho.
Sa UB Express. UB Express.
Yes, gano'n din po. Yan po yung under po ng LTFRB po yan at binubuksan na po yan at daily, weekly, nagkakaroon po ng bagong ruta po yan na binubuksan yung UB Express pati po yung ating mga jeepney.
Mayor, para lang po klaro, yung curfew po na recommendation to shorten it to 10 to 5, will that need IATF approval o okay na yun na kayo na nag-decide?
Meron po kami particular na ordinance for that. So hindi po kailangan po ng approval ng IATF po yan at meron pong bawat isang city na ordinance regarding curfew.
So this takes effect tomorrow na?
So hindi yan blanket rule?
No, it's not a blanket rule. Pero pinagkasunduan namin ng majority, it will be 10 to 5. Pero may particular na city ordinance ang bawat isang local government unit. So hindi na po siya dadaan sa IATF for a resolution for a uniform curfew.
Okay. Kasi si Dagotas Mayor Chanco, hindi siya sang-ayon sa shortening, di ba?
Tama po siya.
Bakit po kaya? Ano po ang magiging basehan ng shortening or maintaining it at its present length?
Yung una, yung of course, yung ating cases ng ating COVID. At yung next, yung pag-open ng ating economy. So we have to balance it. Kasi kapag tayo nag-longer, nag-shorten ng ating curfew, yung operating hours ng ating mga establishment, mas gaganda po siya. At ang mangyayari po dito, mabibigyan po natin ang pagbubukas ng ating ekonomiya. Pero we have to follow the health protocol, yung pagsusuot ng face mask, yung ating pagsusuot ng face shield, pati po yung ating physical distancing doon po sa kanilang mga establishment.
Okay. Mayor, Mayor, paano po yung tuloy-tuloy po yung bilang ng COVID, no? Of course, bumaba na siya from 6,000, naging 3,000. Ganun pa man, marami pa rin po yun. Ano po? Hindi po ba kayo naaalarma nga na kahit papano, baka mamaya masyadong maaga para mag-declare ng GCQ na extended? Hindi po
Okay.
kaya?
So, ang kailangan lang natin dito po, ma'am, is a strict compliance of the health protocol. Kaya po kami sa bawat LGU sa Metro Manila ay meron po kaming city ordinance doon po sa pagsusuot ng face mask, yung pagsusuot ng ating face shield, at yung physical distancing, at may particular na fine at fine po yung peso value at community services sa first and second, third offense. Katulad po sa Parañaque, pag hindi po kayo nagsuot ng face mask at saka ng face shield sa first offense mo, magbabayad ka ng 1,000 plus community services. Second offense is 3,000 and third offense is 5,000 pesos. So kailangan full implementation itong ating health protocol. Pati po yung ating mga employers, kailangan po sumunod sila sa guidelines doon po sa lahat ng kanilang mga empleyado.
Mayor, total, nabanggit nyo na rin yung intervention sa inyong yung mga ginagawa nyo sa Parañaque. Earlier this month, hinirang kayo ng NTF COVID-19 chief ni Chief Galvez na Parañaque raw was a model in many respects. Apart doon po sa nabanggit nyo, ano pa po bang kakaiba sa sitwasyon ng Parañaque? Is there also something unique or innovative to how Parañaque has been dealing with this crisis so far?
Ang maganda po sa amin sa Metro Manila Council, halos weekly kami nagmi-meeting eh. Kaya yung mga good practices po natin ay nai-share ng bawat isa. Nagkakaroon po ng sharing po sa ng good practices. Katulad po na ng city po natin, we're implementing yung pong ating strategy, yung pong ating pong prevention, yung ating pong tinatawag nating contact tracing, yung isolation po natin, yung treatment, at yung integration. Kasi ang solution po talaga, we have to isolate. Ang Parañaque po, we have almost 1,000 isolation bed. In fact, ito po nga nakaraang Friday, nag-inaugurate po kami with Secretary Galvez ng mga additional na mga container bed. At ito po nga additional na ito will add another 150 isolation facilities po sa Parañaque. At yun po yung isa sa solusyon na kapag na-contact trace, na-testing siya, we have to isolate yung ating mga patient. Hindi lang po yung patient na positive. Doon pa lang sa probable and suspect, kailangan ma-isolate na siya.
Mayor, follow-up ko na rin po yun dahil you have the biggest subdivision in the Philippines or in Asia yata, yung BF Homes. Naka-lockdown po ba siya? Napakataas daw ng COVID cases sa ngayon?
Nag-lockdown po kami dyan 2 to 3 weeks ago, pero not the whole BF. Particularly yung 5 sitio lang po doon, pero hindi po yung buong BF kasi buong BF, it's about 100,000 in population. Yes. So we pinpointed kung saan po yung aming mga critical area, yung ating pong merong clustering, yung pong ating lockdown. At naging maganda naman yung resulta po namin sa lockdown sa BF, nagkaroon po kami ng contact trace at in-isolate po namin yung ating mga positive po doon.
Hi, Mayor. Parañaque, Muntinlupa, for that matter, you are gateways to the south. Ngayon mag-GCQ, I know a lot of people already asking each other, ano ba patakaran? Pwede ba ako mag-travel to the south? Can I start driving to ano? And I also imagine a lot of people from the south planning to do business, going back to Metro Manila, and so on. What do people need to know about going in and out of Metro Manila, particularly if they're going to the south?
Okay, ang allowable talaga sa mga boundaries yung ating mga APOR. Sino po itong APOR? Yung mga authorized person outside the residence. Ito po yung ating mga nagtatrabaho, ito po yung lumalabas na kailangan po sa mga essential, at alam naman po natin sa under quarantine, yung mga senior citizen, hindi sila pwede allowed na lumabas, pati yung ating 21 and below, exempted lang po sila kung sila po yung APOR. At kukunin po na at gagamitin nila yung paglabas sila pagpunta doon sa mga essential things na kailangan po sa kanila pong everyday living.
Mayor, anong ginagawa ng inyong lungsod para ma-encourage ang safe travel, bikes, tsaka walking, alam niyo yun? Parang meron po ba kayong mga programa para maiwasan na yung pagsakay sa mga PUV dahil nga doon nga raw mataas ang rate of infection?
Nung pong 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, nag-launch po kami ng pag-uumpisa ng bicycle lane along Sukat Road. Ginagawa na po yung ating bicycle lane na isa-separate po natin sila doon po sa ating pong main thoroughfare, sa main 3 lanes sa Sukat Road. Ngayon po matatapos na po yung ating pong lane na ito. At hopefully by next week, ito pang mid of September, mag-umpisa na po yung sariling bike lane to encourage yung mga pagbibisikleta ng ating residente sa Parañaque.
Marami po bang bumibili na ng mga bisikleta? Marami po ba? Nakikita niyo po ba yung shift, kumbaga, from gasoline and fuel vehicles to...
Yes. Sa observation po namin, mas talagang halos maging doble yung gumagamit po ng bisikleta po ngayon. Kaya right immediately, yung aming City Council nagpasa po ng ordinansa to put up a bike lane along the major thoroughfare that connected the whole Parañaque. That is Dr. A. Santos Avenue.
Paano po yung mga parking? Paano po yung, how do they keep them safe? Meron po bang parking for bikes? Kasi hindi alam kung saan ipaparada. Wala tayo ng mga, anong tawag doon?
Station.
Kadena.
Bike station.
Yes, we're coordinating with all the establishment na yung po tayong ini-encourage po natin yung bisikleta at magkaroon po sila ng bike parking lot doon po sa ating mga establishment all over the city of Parañaque.
Mayor, maliban po sa infrastructure for bikers, let's talk about equipment, particularly yung mga face mask and so on, because marami rin po nagkakalituhan dyan. Kasi ngayon, marami rin nag-advertise na if you're gonna bike and if you're gonna have a face mask, may face shield ka pa, at least, sabi nila, use this kind of face mask. So may mga nagsispecialize na raw na itong face mask, mas makakahinga ka. Eh, hindi naman po kaila sa atin kapag nagbibisikleta, mahirap naman talaga if it's the standard cloth mask and so on. Are we also looking at, whatever, I'm not necessarily an expert on these things, but I imagine that a lot of people will be investing, if they could afford it, in face masks specially made so they can breathe better. But at the same time, these face masks might be something new even to our officers, even to our LGUs. Ano po bang patakaran dito? Kailangan pa, pagka nagbibisikleta ka, yung face mask mo, kailangan katulad pa rin nung sa iba. Paano kung mahirap nga naman magpedal? Galing ka, wala ka pa ng oxygen. So,
ayun nga, sa Parañaque, pati po sa ibang LGU, meron na po tayong ordinance po dan. Every time you're out of your resident, required po siya na magkaroon po ng face mask. Yung pong facial po natin, ang required lang, doon po sa pag sumakay ka sa public utility vehicle, pag pumunta ka sa workplace mo, at doon sa mga commercial spaces na crowded area. Yun lang po ang meron pong required ng face shield based on our ordinance. Pero ang face mask, right after you step out of your resident, kailangan naka-face mask ka.
Pero matuto ko lang, si Atty. Larry Gadon ba taga Parañaque?
I'm sorry?
No, hindi. Si Atty. Larry Gadon po ba taga Parañaque?
Attorney Gadon talaga.
Kumusta po yung testing capacity ng Parañaque? Are you ramping up or are you getting any new testing kits?
Ngayon po, meron po kaming MOA sa Red Cross. Doon po kami nagpapadala po ngayon ng aming pong mga specimen at sa RATM. Pero ngayon po, ginagawa po na namin yung sarili namin molecular laboratory. At in-inspect na po ng Department of Health po ito, yung aming physical layout. At ang target po namin, before end of September, magkakaroon po ng sariling molecular laboratory po, yung gold standard para po sa ating PCR testing.
Meron din po ba kayo ng free testing?
Yes, libre po talaga.
Libre.
At meron libre po siya.
Na-maximize po ba? Marami
I'm sorry?
po ba na-maximize po ba?
Yes.
Kasi
Nakakapag-test po kami ng
Mayor
swab test po
Santos,
namin everyday, mga 500 ang aming pinasa-swab test namin everyday. At yung ating facility ng ating pong swab test ng PCR testing, yung Hospital ng Parañaque 1, which is located on the 1st Congressional District, at yung Hospital ng Parañaque 2 on the 2nd Congressional District, at yung ating City Lab, pati yung ating CESU, bumababa po sa mga barangay po yan, sa mga health center, para po sa ating pre-testing, lalong-lalo na doon sa ating mga na-contact trace. Yung po ang ginagawa po testing everyday ng ating
So, pinupuntahan ninyo
Yes.
Sila yung nagkukusa.
Yung po yung mga contact trace, yun po ang pinupuntahan po natin. Yung na-contact trace po natin, sila po ang pinupuntahan natin.
Alright.
Okay. Metro Manila Council Chairman Edwin Olivarez, Mayor, maraming salamat po for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Salamat
Magandang
po.
gabi po. Stay safe.
Thank
Thank
you.
you po. We will just pause for a break. When we come back, we will have San Juan Mayor Francis Zamora joining us live on the Chiefs. So please stay with us.
Well, Chiefs, we're now in the final stage of our conversation, and now we'd like to welcome our next guest, San Juan Mayor Francis Zamora. Good evening, Mayor.
Yes, good evening, Ami, and of course to the Chiefs. Magandang gabi po sa
Tayo
inyo.
face-to-face, unfortunately. Mayor, you're strongly pushing for a 30-day GCQ, no? Bakit tinanong na namin to kanina eh, pero sabi ni Mayor Olivarez, hindi naman daw council proposal yon. Hindi ba, tatanungin na rin namin uli kayo, hindi ba mababawasan yung flexibility nyo kung hindi every 2 weeks? Bakit gusto nyo tuloy-tuloy na 30 days?
No, I would like to clarify, no, wala akong sinabing 30 days ang yung length ng next quarantine status. What I mentioned was I'm in favor of extending the GCQ. And of course, I would like to reiterate that we are purely recommendatory only.
Yes.
At the end of the day, it will be the IATF and President Duterte who will make the decision. But kami naman nasanay na rin dun sa every 2 weeks na posibleng magbago yung quarantine status. Ang katunayan dyan, a few days before the end of the month, in the middle of the month, nagkikita ko kami Metro Manila mayors and the IATF to discuss our concerns, our best practices, which they all take into consideration when they make decisions. If indeed they will change the quarantine status.
Anong latest developments ngayon sa San Juan, Mayor? Kasi, well, it's interesting kasi sa San Juan nga yung first case ng yung local transmission. Anong pinaka-latest sa battle against COVID in your city?
Ito, ang latest data that I have, we have 516 cases and we have 1,270 recoveries and 64 deaths. At siguro kaya ko talagang sabihin na noong unang bugso na COVID dito nga sa Pilipinas, noong buwan ng Marso, in fact, specifically on March 6, dito nga sa aming prayer hall sa Greenhills Shopping Center, pumunta yung unang kaso ng local transmission sa Pilipinas. He is from another municipality outside of Metro Manila. A few days after visiting the prayer hall in Greenhills, he was confined in a private hospital here in San Juan and eventually passed away. Tapos sumunod nga dito yung kanyang asawa, ganun din. Namatay din nga siya. So talagang dito nagsimula yung local transmission based on the data of the DOH. At mula nung panahon na yun, medyo tumaas yung kaso natin. Ngunit nung ECQ, talagang bumaba rin siya. In fact, nung MECQ, during the months of May and June, we experienced days with 0 positive cases. In fact, for the entire month of June, halos 8 araw yan na wala kaming naging kaso ng COVID-19 dito sa San Juan. Ngunit yun nga, nung nilift na yung MECQ at naging GCQ na, nakita natin na dumagdag uli siya. So, talagang nature nitong virus na naghahanap ng mga taong lumalabas ng bahay, yung mga dating na sa loob ng kanilang tahanan nung panahon ng ECQ ay nagsilabasa na. So it's something that we eventually have to live with because you cannot forever lock down cities. You cannot forever stop the economy from moving. So ako, ang attitude ko talaga dito, kailangan lahat tayo masanay na yung virus nandito lang sa paligid natin hanggat wala pa tayong bakuna. Kinakailangan matuto tayo na araw-araw mabuhay. Kung tayo man ay magtatrabaho, tayo man ay bibili ng pagkain ng gamot, we should all realize that the virus is just there. It can possibly be in our vehicle or in the places that we go to, in our workplace, in our homes. So we just have to really understand and follow all minimum health standards so that we will not be affected.
Yes, but Mayor, speaking of...
months na, no? Meron ba kayo ngayon na magbe-burr months na? Burr month.
Apo, yes.
Meron ba kayong particular unique preparations for the burr months? Kasi yun na nga, dadami lalo ang mga magko-converge sa mga malls, sa mga establishments. Meron ba kayong iibahingin sa inyong mga guidelines or policies?
Yes, Lucy, alam naman natin ang Greenhills Shopping Center ay tuwing Pasko, dinadagsa talaga ng mga shoppers. No? One thing we will have to see for this year is will we have the same volume of people coming into Greenhills? Sapagkat hindi lamang sa Greenhills, kahit po sa mga ibang lugar na observe ko rin po na kahit na MECQ or GCQ, yung dating bilang ng tao na nakasanayan natin nakikita sa mga malls, commercial establishments, talagang bawas na. At siguro, para sa akin, ito isang senyales ng ating mga mamamayan, disiplinado. Kumbaga, kung hindi talaga kailangan lumabas, huwag na tayong lumabas. Because for me, it's as simple as this. The virus can be transmitted from one person to another. If you do not encounter any person at a close distance or with such dangerous proximity, then the chances of getting infected or infecting others becomes very low. So hanggat tayo talaga ay umiiwas sa mga matataong lugar, kung tayo ay naka-mask, naka-face shield, alam natin na talagang yung chances na mahawa tayo o mahawang iba, bumababa yan. So regarding your question, we will have to observe the trend kung dadami ang tao. But nevertheless, we are prepared. In fact, when we shifted to MECQ and then eventually to GCQ, mahigpit po namin ipinapatupad dito sa San Juan yung submission ng return to work plans. Ibig sabihin, yung mga negosyong nagsarado nung panahon ng ECQ na muling nagbukas ngayon, hindi yan basta-basta magbubukas lamang. Kinakailangan kumuha sila ng Certificate of Compliance sa aming pong Business Permits and Licensing Office at sa aming City Health Office na ang kanilang mga empleyado ay na face-to-face interview na ng aming City Health Office. Bibigyan sila ng health pass, ng ID. They are interviewed kung sila ba ay nag-positive dati, na-quarantine ba sila. So all of these are required of them before we actually give them their certificates of compliance. So hindi kami basta-basta sabihin, bukas na itong mga tindahan. No, we do it slowly but surely, and we make sure that everyone follows the minimum health standards, especially commercial establishments, sapagkat sila yung humaharap sa maraming customers.
Alam ko, Teka lang, itutuloy niyo ba yung Christmas on display every
Oh, yung
year?
may animatronics, yung dating COD.
Oo, na hindi niyo muna gagawin kasi kaabang-abang rin yan eh.
Yes, unfortunately, simula nung nakaraang taon, wala na po sa San Juan yung Christmas on display, yung COD, no, na nakasanayan na. Yes. So last year, ang naging tema po ng Greenhills Shopping Center ay laser light show. So medyo medyo modern light show po ang ipinalit sa COD. So this is part of the redevelopment of the Ortigas family, the owners of the Greenhills Shopping Center. But syempre ang San Juan talaga ay kilala bilang Tiangge capital ng Pilipinas at talagang nadagsayan lalo na kapag papasok na itong Burr month tinatawag. So I'm here to actually inform everyone, especially those who are watching, that it is safe to go to San Juan, it is safe to go to the Greenhills Shopping Center. I understand and I realize that there is a stigma when you say Greenhills sapagkat kadalasan naalala nila, naku, dyan yung unang kaso ng COVID. But that was way back in March. In fact, that same day, no March 6, I remember very well because I remember the DOH visited me in my office and may confidential message nga sila sa akin. At yan po ay confirmed na nga yung first local transmission dito sa Pilipinas. So agad-agad po akong pumunta doon mismo sa loob ng prayer hall. I went inside with our Muslim brothers and sisters, with our DOH heads and our city office. And namin agad yan, nag-sanitize, nag-disinfect. In fact, we had to close it down for a very long time. Just to make sure that people will realize and understand that yung virus na nanggaling dito ay talagang na-disinfect natin at sanitize natin yung lugar.
But Mayor,
Did I understand you correctly?
Greenhills pa rin ang tanong ko eh. But in fairness, I personally don't think that dahil dyan ang first case, that's the stigma. I mean, my personal is, no, that's not really the stigma. But I think the stigma is just imagining the crowds. No? And you're acknowledging that's the dilemma. On the one hand, you want to bring back the people, reassure them. At the same time, you want to respect social distancing, make sure, and in a way, part of the message there is wag sana ganun karami katulad ng dati. So first of all, I just want to understand first, maybe I'm really just curious about the details. One is, could you give us an idea of how this entire economic crisis has impacted and been felt right there in Greenhills? Nabanggit nyo nga sa dami ng Tiangge, and so on, that's what really it's known for. But secondly, kakibat doon sa giving us the details of that, ilan na nagsara, ilan ang hindi na makabayad ng rent, ilan ang hindi na magtsatsyangge, and so on, is what's the plan, not just given quarantine, but given the new behaviors of people now, di ba? Kasi nasanay na kami rin ngayon sa online shopping, ang tiyangge ko is online na ngayon. So what's the best scenario that you can imagine for Greenhills, given that, gaya nga sabi natin, Burr month is not just Christmas month, it's not just Christmas season, Burr month is Greenhills season. Yes. So what's the best that you can imagine now?
First of all, Robbie, if I may share, when the Greenhills Shopping Center opened June of this year, so that's only about 2 months ago, close to 3 months ago, yung dating mga tiyangge na dikit-dikit na nakasanayan natin, wala na yan. So, ang ginawa natin, tulong talaga tayo with the heads of the shopping center. Sabi ko, I'm very sorry, but we cannot continue with the old setup we're in. There are close to 2,000 stalls na dikit-dikit. So, ang ginawa nila, naka-cluster yung ating mga stalls dito. So, 4-4 kada cluster. Each cluster is facing a different direction para hindi nga nagdidikit-dikit kahit yung mga customers. Tapos, meron tayong one-way in, one-way out na lakaran sa mga hallways. At yung mga dating lugar sa loob ng mall na hindi nila na-utilize, ngayon ginagamit na nila. All of these to make sure na yung minimum health standards in terms of social and physical distancing are followed and complied with. And like what I mentioned, madalas ako nag-inspect talaga dyan. Nagsusurprise inspection ako kung yung mga tendera ay suot-suot yung ating IDs ng health pass natin at clearance, at kung yung mga stalls ay merong certificates of compliance. Now, with regard to how they will modify their mode of sales, no? I think people still go to Greenhills to enjoy the experience. Yung maglilibot-libot, maghahanap ng mabibili. No? Yes, I believe that a lot of shopping now is done online. But iba pa rin yung yung nandun ka talaga mismo na nag-iikot, namimili, nagsusukat, no? Ako umaasa na pagdating ng holidays ay babalik ang sigla ng Greenhills Shopping Center. Kaya ako bilang mayor, siyempre, tungkulin ko rin na siguraduhin na yung mga mamamayan na pupunta sa aming lungsod. No? Hindi lamang yung mga taga-Juan, ngunit yung mga taga-ibang lugar within Metro Manila or the nearby provinces. I want them to feel that they are safe and secure when they go here to the Greenhills Shopping Center.
Alam niyo, quick question lang. Quick question, dahil nabanggit nyo. Bigla ako na-curious. Yung pagsusukat, ano yung protocol doon? Siyempre, like you said, when people go to Greenhills, mahalaga yung experience. But yung experience ng pagsusukat, ano ba ang new normal ngayon sa protocol dyan, sa pagsusukat?
Actually, yung sukat-sukat dito, wala naman masyadong mga fitting room yan, no? Basically, you just have this small space inside the stall na talagang isang tao lang ang kasya dyan, tapos may maliit na salamin, papasok ka sa loob at susukatin mo. So, ito naman, pang isang tao lang siya, hindi naman yan nagdidikit-dikit sa loob. So, you can still enjoy the experience, but you will not see the same number of stalls that you're used to. In fact,
but I asked because siyempre i-imagine ko yung ako masakit ako sa ulo sa mga tindera, magsusukat ako tapos hindi ko bibilhin. Babalikan ko nila. But what about that, di ba? Things like this na magsusukat yung tao, iiwan, then a new stranger comes by and says, "Oh, ito susukatin ko to." I mean I know this is part of the paranoia for a lot of people. But that's going to be a question on a lot of people's minds. Meron na bang ibang nagsukat nitong susukatin ko and so on. Na pumasok po ba to sa usapin ng ano dapat ngayon ng bagong protocol sa new normal sa mga tiyanggi-tiyanggi?
Well, that's something that I have to discuss first with even with DTI sapagkat hindi lamang naman sa tiyanggi nagsusukat. No? Even if you go to a retail store in the mall, people still go to fitting rooms. No? And that's a good question, Robbie. Let me consult the DTI regarding that. But then again, if you...
Wala lang papasukin si Robbie.
Yung iisip ko.
Kaya naman nakabibili. Magsusukat na magsusukat. Hindi rin nakabibili.
Pag si Robbie ang pumunta, sasabihin ko sa tindera, huwag nyo na singilin para lumipat na ng ibang tindera si Robbie.
Mayor, magpaskil kayo ng magpaskil kayo ng mga karatula. Picture ni Robbie, huwag tularan. Ganun.
Mayor, wala na po kaming oras. Kailangan po namin talaga magpaalam. So magpapasalamat na po kami sa inyo. Maraming salamat po, Mayor. Masusunod ulit.
Thank you for having me.
Okay.
Thanks, Mayor.
Alright. Okay, sino mag-extra?
Pansin nyo, may sabi si Mayor na lahat ng everybody who works in San Juan, they have to be interviewed personally by the city.
Oo.
So lahat ng empleyado, lahat ng workers sinasala nila with
Siguro.
personal interviews. At least that's what I got, ha?
Dapat pati mga para si Robbie masala.
Hindi, Robbie, yung tinatanong ko, sa Japan, merong mga ginagamit sa mga fitting room kahit before the pandemic pa. May ipapatong na plastic pati sa ulo para hindi tumama yung makeup pag sinukat yung damit. Matagal na nilang ginagawa yan. Pati pagsusukat ng sapatos, you are required to wear yung disposable na parang plastic labo.
Yes.
Ano ka pwede
Talaga?
Matagal na nilang ginagawa yan before the pandemic. Siguro
Oh.
gagawin
So, ibig sabihin, hindi lang ako yung praning, di ba? Hindi lang ako yung nag-isip nito.
Hindi, wala akong problema sa pagkapraning mo. Ang nakakainis yung nagsusuka tapos hindi bibili.
Ang sinasabi ko naman, papalit na lang ako Oo. Tapos hindi ko naman hanap. Naliligaw ako
So, yan. Sige, Ed.
So, tandaan po niyo itsura na nasa baba. Wag tularan. And that will be all for this edition of the Chiefs. We hope of this discussion will keep the conversation going. I'm Edwin of Juan News.
I'm Ami Pamintuan of the Philippine Star.
I'm Lucy Cruz Valdez of News 5.
I'm Robbie Alampay and we are One News.